Hey guys, so I was setting up my brand new aquarium right there and I got to the filter part and I thought, why don't I actually make an unboxing slash first impressions slash sort of a review for you guys? Since I feel like this particular filter is super popular as it's more affordable than other brands on the market. Also, Tetra is a very popular brand. And in the past, I did actually use these filters, but it was about 15 years ago. I was a teenager, I don't really remember much. But I do remember I didn't dislike them, so that's why I got myself a Tetra X 800 Plus for my 80-liter slash 21-gallon aquarium. Righty, so let's get to work, shall we? So let's start with the little box of accessories. There should have been the manual somewhere around here, but I actually opened this previously and I don't know where the manual is. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Famous last words. So in the box, first of all, you have the hoses, which are a 12 millimeter in diameter. As far as I know, all of the Tetra X's until 800, and I think there are 3 of them, they all have the 12 millimeter hoses, and upwards of this, they switch to the 16 millimeter hoses. Also here, we have, how are these called? Should really get that manual, right? Got it. They're either called the stop valve or the hose adapter connection. Also, you get your standard accessories like the inlet and outlet. All of them are plastic. All of them I'm actually not going to use because I have glass lily pipes, which I do prefer. But I wanted to mention a little bit this little sponge which goes into the inlet, theoretically to protect tiny little fish or tiny shrimp from getting into the filter. The porosity is so big that shrimplets absolutely get in here. So I would definitely switch this if you're planning to use it with super tiny little creatures. No, I think even fish would fit through here. Not a very good one. Now, I know some of you are actually using this. Yes, it comes with that type of spray outlet. This is not bad. It creates a lot of circulation on the surface. So if you like these things, yeah, this filter comes with such a thing. On to the filter itself. One of the things that I've kind of always liked about it, hopefully I remember correctly, is that it actually has a little bit of a holder here. So you can pick it up really easy. Some filters actually don't have anything to pick them up from. So when you open them up, it's always a joy, quote unquote. And I'm looking at you, Hydor. You need to do something about those filter heads. So let's open him up and see what's inside. Spoilers, this process is a little loud, so I'm gonna tweak the audio. So this is how it looks inside. It has a protection mesh. Its sole purpose is to keep everything in place. And then you have drawers, which I really do like this feature. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers. Now this filter already comes with some filtration media, which is great. So I'm gonna go in the order in which they're arranged. Personally, I like to switch up a little bit the order. On the first shelf, which is the one from the bottom, you have a little sponge, which, can you see how big the porosity is? I know some growers do like to switch these sponges to something a little bit less porous. On the bottom, we have some ceramic cylinders. This is the biological filtration, and you need to get them out of the bag. Don't start the filter with them in the bag. It's a little surprising to me that they would put biological filtration at the bottom because, as far as I understand, the flow comes from the bottom to the top. So the filter floss is the last because it filters out the tiniest physical particles, and this is at the bottom. It's not the way I arrange things, but okay. The next drawer is entirely made out of bio bowls. This, again, is supposed to be a biological filtration. Some people suggest that these are not super good in an aquarium setup. They're highly used in pond setups. To be honest, I did use them in the past, and again, to be honest, at some point I did switch them to some ceramic cylinders. Rather, it feels like they don't actually have a lot of very porous surface area for bacteria. Probably I'm gonna switch them at some point. I got some ceramic cylinders, so I might switch them up. The next cartridge is entirely made out of filters, which again have this big porosity. Now, sponges, they can hold on to some bacteria. Obviously, bacteria will colonize everything, but their main use is for mechanical filtration. And with this porosity, yeah, anyway, not entirely sure how efficient they are. At some point, again, I might switch them up. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how dirty my aquarium will be. And the last drawer, the one at the top, has your chemical filtration along with mechanical filtration. Once again, we have another one of these sponges. Then we have active carbon. I personally don't use it in my tanks unless I'm doing a treatment of sorts. And then the last filter is this mesh, which people call filter floss. And this is all we got. Obviously, these little drawers are all the same size, so you can switch the medium around however you please, which I definitely will. And the materials don't actually need to be held in a bag. They will not fly around, or rather float around the filter, so that's great. But personally, yeah, I would definitely customize a little bit the layout and also maybe the materials, get some of them out, put other things in, but that's just a personal preference. So obviously these things are stackable, but they do have a certain way to arrange them. You can see there is a pipe going through. So how I like to make sure that I place them in the right order is to have the filter with its logo in front of me and the pipe in the back right corner. Make sure the handles are pushed all the way down, and notice that at the top, this little pipe needs to fit the pipe on the power head here. And then it's pretty easy peasy. But it's very noisy. Now, this bit over here, this gave me a few headaches, but I'll tell you how to remove this connector from the top. So, if you look in the front, you will find two levers. Well, they actually do two different things. And also at the top, we see that left and right locks and unlocks this part of the filter. In the lock position, which is to the left, you will not be able to remove this part of the filter. You need to rotate this green lever to the right, and now you can remove it. Ta-da! I'll have to say this part slightly finicky, so be careful. Don't apply too much strength because the plastic doesn't look very sturdy to me. So to put it back, you need to make sure that the lever is in the unlock position. Push it down, rotate it to the left, bring it down, bring this guy down, and there you go, it is locked in place. So here on the top, you will have your inlet and your outlet. This is the in, this is the out. It is specified in very tiny letters on the top here. And also you're gonna have the self-priming button, which gets stuck all the time. Luckily, I personally never use it. What I like to do is fill the filter with water directly, put on the filter head, turn it on, and it's gonna do its job on its own. But for the sake of it, I will try to unjam this button. Probably it's missing some Vaseline or something. In the back, you have the power cord, and that's about it for the filter. Let's look at the hose connectors. So in the instructions, I think you're gonna see that first you need to attach these connectors and then put the hose. Well, I suggest you don't go about it that way because you will put quite a bit of pressure when you're gonna connect the hose to the actual connector. So what I think is best to do is connecting the hose to these things before you attach them to the filter. You can see mine already has a little bit of marking here because I already connected it before I thought maybe I should film the process. So what you do is push in the hose and then secure it in place by rotating this little knob. You'll have to excuse my English vocabulary. I know quite a bit of street English, but when it comes to these very specific terms, it gets kind of funny, as you can tell. So now the hose is securely attached to the connector. Let's go ahead and do that for this guy as well. Always assume these things are made out of the flimsiest plastic, unless you're going for Oasis or maybe Eheim, which I think they're a little sturdier. Something that is very affordable will be made out of cheap, maybe I shouldn't say cheap, kind of flimsy plastic. It's not gonna be the sturdiest thing, so take some measures of protecting that plastic, because you will end up with a broken device. It happened to me a lot, just because the plastic was too flimsy for my tiny little hands. Can you believe it? And to attach them to the filter, really easy, we need to screw these in. At this point, when you don't have anything attached to the end of the hose, it doesn't matter the order in which you put them in. It will matter once you decide which will be your outlet and which will be your inlet. These things are rotatable. So if they move around like this, don't worry, it's normal for them to do this. Make sure though that this is screwed in all the way. I cannot tell you how many cases I've seen in which people didn't properly screw these in. They just did a few of these and probably the connector wasn't sitting straight. So what happened was a lot of leakage everywhere. So you can see there's quite a bit to go through. Make sure this thing went in all the way and you don't have any more threads visible here. So at this point, the filter is assembled. We're gonna pick this up when I'm actually going to put it on the aquarium, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will be today. It is 6:30 in the morning. You'd think I'd have time to set up my aquarium by nighttime. I would not be so sure, but I'm gonna try my best. So the way that I like to arrange my filtration medium is first the coarse sponges. This is the first filter media that I want the water to go through. And this is responsible with holding on to debris and large particles and things of sorts. So this goes on the bottom. Second, another set of sponges. These sponges all seem to me the same, so it doesn't really matter the order. But also here, I will be placing my filter floss, which is kind of flimsy. I could definitely use some more sponges or something in the first two compartments, but anyway, this would be the second compartment. Then I like to have two biological filtration compartments. As I was saying, I will not be using these bio bowls. I'm gonna hang on to them. So I'm gonna be placing here the ceramic cylinders this filter comes with. I might change them in the future, I don't know. They don't look very good to me, but hey, that's a preference. And since I got more space, I will combine them with some zipper racks that I had around. I'm gonna give this a rinse and then place it in the filter. And look at that, I just found another sponge. So I'm gonna put it in that drawer where I actually had a little bit more space. And on the last drawer, I'm gonna be using another biological filtration. I don't use activated charcoal in my aquarium, but it's good to keep it around. You never know when you're gonna need it. So I'm gonna dump all of this siporak. I have quite a lot more space. Actually, I think I have some matrix around. There we are, Seachem matrix. I'm gonna sprinkle some matrix in here as well. Rinse this and then we're done. Ooh, bit of glass. Bad Seachem, that was very sharp. Let's add some water. All right, that's about it for now. When you put the cap on, it might overflow a little bit if you put too much water. So the best thing to do is to place the filter in a bucket or a container of sorts, especially when dealing with the new filter, because you don't know if it's leaking. Let's put the top on. All right, so I was putting on the lily pipes and this happened, but you know what happened actually? I didn't actually bang it on anything. I didn't push on it too much. I didn't put weird pressure on it. I was placing the hose and this just snapped, like out of the blue. I was holding it from here, and this part just snapped due to gravity, nothing else. And it fell on the floor and it broke into a million pieces. And you know what? Right now, I'm going on Amazon and I am purchasing myself stainless steel lily pipes. I've had it with the glass. It's always hard to clean because I'm always afraid I'm gonna break it. Never broke it in 2 years. I was careful with it, and now out of the blue, literally, I was holding it from the other side in my hand and this thing went like and fell. That part due to gravity. What the heck? I am so done. It's not even funny. I'm just gonna use the inlet of the filter for now, and Amazon, here we go. And here's the filter. The only noises I hear are the bubbles. I will show you at a different time because now it's morning and you hear all sorts of noises from outside. It's working really well. You can see the bubbles of air coming out. It will continue to do that for a few hours or the entirety of today, which is absolutely normal. So for today, I will keep this filter in this container just to see if I have leaks. I doubt I will. It looks absolutely fine. So we'll come back when everything looks a little bit better with some final thoughts. Alright, so it has been a few weeks. Actually, I have fish in my aquarium, and as you can see, I'm still running the filter. So, a few ideas. When I assembled the last drawer of the filter, I realized later that the small CK matrix particles, they might actually go through that grill. Some of those rocks are actually pretty small, so what I did was I opened it up and placed another filter floss layer. You can actually purchase these separately. Tetra offers them, so even if it doesn't come with the kit, you can purchase it separately, or you can use the one that comes in the kit on top. If I only had the ceramic cylinders, I wouldn't worry all that much because they're quite big. They will not go through the grill, but CK matrix can have small, low rocks. So that's something that I will add as text in this video, but also I want to mention it just so you know. And other than that, this filter is so silent. You might hear a little bit my hang on from a different tank, but this guy, I'm gonna get close to it. You cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. Very, very, very mild sprinkling actually of water. Other than that, nothing. I really, really like this filter. Hose is a little dirty. I did not clean it ever since I installed it like 3-4 weeks ago at this point, but it has done amazing. It just needs a little bit of cleanup, and I'm also going to change the lily pipes. I just received my stainless steel ones, but the plastic inlet this guy came with was actually very, very good as well. So anyway, as I expected, the filter is actually pretty good. I really like it, and for an affordable option, I find it quite good. It's easy to take apart and clean. In comparison to others, I'm sure there are others which are just as good, but when it comes to this guy, I used it before, I'm using it now. I believe it's a good filter for the price, so I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you're thinking of purchasing it, hopefully this video will help you out, and hopefully you have an idea of how to assemble it now, because I have to say, sometimes when you're at the beginning of this journey, things can get a little overwhelming. So take it easy, rewatch this tutorial if you have to, and I hope it helps. So with that said, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do give this video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe for more aquarium related content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!